Really excited to add these 7 young men to the team today, and just continue on to try and add pieces to get better. So I'll generally just leave it to you guys wherever we're starting.
Great. We'll start with Jim McBride, followed by Chris Mason. Go ahead, Jim.
Hey, Matt, thanks again for taking the time. Wanted to ask you what initially drew you to Bailey Zappi, and what qualities did you like in him?
Yeah, it's you put on the film of Bailey Zappi, and it's hard not to like him. It's a lot of completions, it's a lot of touchdown passes, and it's a lot of wins. This guy's a winner. The way he's able to lead and command his team. He's got a lot of great traits that you want in a quarterback. Most importantly, success with the way he's able to produce on the field and do what's right for the team and get the ball to the playmakers, which he was fortunate enough to have at Houston Baptist and at Western Kentucky. Coach Helton gave him a lot of responsibility, and he really did a great job for his teams.
Thank you.
Next question, Chris Mason, followed by Bob Sosi.
Hey, Matt, thanks for doing this.
Certainly. Thanks for staying up.
Yeah, you got it. It's just, so before the draft, you said you were looking to get faster everywhere. Do you feel like you accomplished that this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, you look at a couple of the guys we added yesterday, a couple of the guys we added today. There's some pretty fast times. I'm sure you guys know them, looked them up. At certain positions, speed. There's only so many ways to handle speed, and these guys wake up every morning and they're fast. It's a great gift. I was never fortunate enough to have, but we're going to try and put them in the best position, use that speed, and open things up for us.
Thank you.
Next question, Bob Sosi, followed by Zach Cox.
Thanks, Stace. Matt, thanks again for your time.
Certainly. Thanks, Bob.
Hey, question about kind of the makeup of the class as a whole. A lot of small school guys, a lot of guys maybe from non-traditional programs in terms of the Patriots and their draft history. And I'm curious how that reflects on your scouting collaborative. Last night you said collaborative is the word, and to be able to have a good read and evaluation of all these particular prospects. How this draft reflects on that effort as well. What was the role of some of the secondary and all-star games? Some of the guys referred to East-West Shrine game, the Hula Bowl, in addition to the Senior Bowl.
Those games are a great opportunity to see some of these smaller school players go against what might be considered higher level competition. But some of these guys, at the FCS program or whatnot, they play some of the FBS schools, and these FCS programs, a lot of them aren't far behind from some of these FBS programs, to be quite frank. So there's players everywhere, and it's our job to go find them. And our area scouts and our national scouts and Cam Williams does a great job, getting those guys organized. And we've got to cover every school and be on top of wherever there's a player, and we're going to go find them, and we're going to get to know them, and we got to see how they would fit into our program, and then what skills they have. It's not just the Alabamas and LSU's, and look, we're happy to have a player from LSU and Arizona State and some of these big name programs, but it ultimately comes down to the kid and the skill set and how they're going to fit in into our culture and into our scheme.
Thanks, Matt.
Next question, Zach Cox, followed by Greg Bedard.
Hey, Matt, how's it going? I wanted to go back to Zappi for a second. I know this is something that the Patriots have done for a while, even in Tom's early years, but what's the benefit of drafting a quarterback when you have a young starter who is still young and kind of early in his rookie contract and all of that?
Yeah, there's always value in having good players on your team. And Bailey's a good player, and he's going to add value to our team. It's going to be up to him to kind of carve out what role that is here initially, and then going forward. So, I think might have been Mike last night. Asked the question about value, and there's, whatever it is, that quarterback position, yeah, one guy's only on the field, but, you better have, another good one or two or three or whoever it is in the system coming up, because you never know when those guys are going to be needed. And if you're short at that position, you're going to be in real trouble. So, just like a college program that, might bring in a highly recruited quarterback one year, you can't really afford to skip a year. You got to have, plenty of talent there at that position, and we had an opportunity to add Bailey and tried to, add some good value to the quarterback position.
Next question, Greg Bedard, followed by Mark Daniels.
Hey, Matt. Pretty simple question that I'm sure is going to have a complicated answer, but I'm just curious. We've seen from where the team was last year, we saw a lot of departures or unsigned guys this year. You obviously traded for Devontae, made other moves. Now you have the draft. I'm just curious from your perspective as the director of player personnel, do you feel like the team is better right now than the one that finished last year, and why do you feel that way?
Yeah, that certainly is a complicated question. Appreciate the question. Is that the Anglers you got on there, Greg?
Attleboro, sorry, Matt.
Oh, Attleboro. Sorry. Sorry to mix that up. Yeah, that is a complicated question, and that's a question that, once we put together the team and can actually see the team together, we're just in phase one here, getting ready to start phase two, and actually put the team together. And look, this is, we're still putting the team together. We're still working through college free agents. We've been able to add some good undrafted college free agents here through the years, and we're working on through that process right now. So, to take the easy way out, that answer is yet to reveal itself. So we'll keep working. We're going to continue to try and find ways to make this team better. So I think it would be very early to compare this team that is a work in progress to, last year's team that played 17 regular season games and was fortunate enough and earned their way into the playoffs.
Matt, just a real quick follow-up. I respect the answer, and I understand your answer. But, you and Bill sit there, you look at your depth chart, you look at last year, you look at where we were weak, you try to make adjustments this year. I mean, I got to think that you guys feel pretty good about where this team is, heading into, obviously, the on-field portion.
Yeah, I heard a lot of things about where we were last year as a team. We try and ignore the noise around here. I'm sure you guys have seen the sign. It's just the team is still such a work in progress right now, that it is really difficult. We've had some needs. We've tried to address those needs. We've tried to get better. But I mean, there's not a person who's answering these questions for any team around the league that's not saying the same thing. So I appreciate the question. It's a little difficult to answer right now.
Thanks, Matt.
Next question, Mark Daniels, followed by Andrew Callahan.
Hey, Matt, thanks for doing this. I want to ask you about Jack Jones. With the player who maybe has had some off the field issues in the past, how hard does your staff work to sort of figure out, is this guy a fit? And, you put that staff behind him. And in the end, why did you guys feel comfortable about drafting Jack in the 4th round?
The first part of that question, how hard did we work? Real hard, Andrew. Really, really hard. And it's not just the last month or so. It's a continual process. Feel like I've been watching Jack Jones for a while now, following his career. That's what happens with some of these highly touted recruits. And we've spent a lot of time with Jack to try and get comfortable and understand the different situations that he's felt, and feel good about kind of getting to know him and understanding those situations to have a process in place to be able to add him to our program.
Thank you.
Next question, Andrew Callahan, followed by Matthew Fairburn.
Hey, Matt, it's good to talk with you again. 2 for me. Just overall, how would you describe the class that you've put together? And then secondly, we've talked a lot about speed, but just what were some of those other needs that you as a collective wanted to address with this draft?
Yeah, I touched on some of that last night. We're always looking to be tougher. We're always looking to add talent. So, lots of times you got a talented guy who's not very tough, and the coach says, "Oh, we got to get tougher. We got to get tougher." But they keep playing the talented guy. So a wise man once told me, you want to have a tough team, you better have tough players. So we're always looking to add tough players and speed. To be able to add some speed there to the perimeter and some athleticism inside. Who's not looking for those things?
Next question, Matthew Fairburn, followed by Mike Reese.
Hi, Matt. I know you talked before the draft about, hoping that those early round picks can kind of turn into immediate contributors. Curious where you see the most potential for immediate impact from this draft class.
Yeah, these rookies, their immediate impact so many times is going to come on fourth down in the kicking game. So again, that's a good place to start with speed and toughness. Coach Acord and Coach Houston, they'll get those guys put in the best position to start, finding their way through the NFL as professionals, and so often that happens on special teams. So, all the rookies who are coming in, they got to be prepared to strap it up on fourth down.
Thanks, Matt.
Looks like we have two final questions, Mike Reese and Greg Bedard.
Hey, Matt, I'm curious on the age factor of some of these guys. I know you mentioned, I think it might have been the pre-draft news conference, just that there's going to be some older guys just with the whole COVID thing, and a deeper class. Is there any concern when you guys are looking at, some 24-year-olds and multiple in your draft class? Like, do you guys have those discussions and that you want to get the age down?
I've noticed you've paid a lot of attention to birth dates here, Mike. High attention to detail here. And I don't know how you got pushed to the end of the line here this time. It's at a certain point, it becomes a factor. Whether the guy is 23, 24 years old, we're talking about a year here. Yeah, it's great. He's had that much more time for development, for experience. It goes both ways. If you're drafting a bunch of 20 and 21-year-olds, it's, you're going to get questions about maturity and inexperience. If you're drafting 23 and 24-year-olds, it's not really a big gap, I'd say. Once you start getting to, some of these older players, it's a factor that you keep in mind, and I think the position plays a factor in that. But don't really think there's that big of a difference between, some of those age groups that we're talking about.
I wanted to go to the end of the line. I didn't want to always be first. I felt like I came in with like a blitz last night, so I wanted to come back and sort of play more of a softer zone.
I just thought it was preordained that you were the first guy. I don't know.
No, absolutely not. Before you go, just one of the fun parts from a reporter standpoint is trying to anticipate your next moves in the draft, right? So you guys are up on the clock, and I'm thinking to myself, I wonder if they'll go there. And when you went with Harris at running back, it surprised me because you had the running back in the fourth. Did that surprise you guys? And was that just sort of like, hey, that's the best player. We got to double dip there.
Yeah, again, when you have an opportunity to add a really good player, to your team, you want to capitalize on that. Kevin under Coach Muschamp, under Coach Beamer, has had a great career down there in South Carolina, and really like the way he plays and the things that he was able to do under those two different systems. So when you see the value in adding a good piece to your team, at that position, with the way those guys, how physical this game is, you can never have enough good guys to hand the ball off to. So, this guy's a really strong runner. So we were happy to add him to the team.
Thanks a bunch. It was fun talking to you leading up to the draft and these last two nights. Really appreciate the insight.
Appreciate you guys staying up late and waiting around for me here tonight.
Thank you,
Matt.
guys. Thanks, Matt.
All right.
Thanks.